Want to take a few minutes and talk about interior stuff, supplies that you're going to need if you're going to try to do what I'm working to do on the Toyota. And really, I'm going to get the camera right down in there and try to get you some close-up shots of the stuff that I've been doing with the interior work so that it might be able to help you do your own. A couple of things I think you're going to need to do the seat upholstering project. Here's kind of the rough guess of what this looks like. I've got the carpet in, I've got the seats on, I've got the console in, so that's kind of the project that we're working on now. Talking about scale, I'm going to try to use this axial steering wheel. This looks very Toyota-ish. I think it's quite old actually. This is out of an old parts tree that I'd found digging around in a box, and pretty sure it's axial just because of the way that it has this D hole in the back. But anyway, this is the largest steering wheel I've ever seen in our shop, and it's the wrong scale for every other truck that I've used. All of ours are considerably smaller diameter to match the scale of the truck. This particular one seems like it's a much bigger scale. We're using an almost 8-inch tall driver, so that's an issue. We need a big wheel to go with it. That's also why we have big seats. Our seat design that my daughter made up here, the seat is actually quite a bit larger than I think what we're used to in RC. It's just a big seat. But it fits the build really well when you have the whole thing together. The look is fantastic. So that's the reason why we're kind of going with a little mix and match parts here. We wanted to do a console in the truck. It's an off-road style of a truck. So we designed up this mock-up of a Tuffy console. Some of you off-road guys will recognize this. This is a pretty popular console that's out there for off-road builds. It's quite common in the Bronco community too. So this is a Tuffy console that we just whipped up a design and printed this off. This one happened to be actually too small. Speaking of scale, this one looked too small in the truck, so we printed one that was larger that's now in the truck. This is your best friend, okay? When you're talking about doing carpeting and interior work and stuff, this everybody needs a roll of this non-stick green, non-permanent green painter tape. This is the best stuff ever for just holding stuff down. I got this piece of material years ago. I actually used it on the 49 Chevy truck build to do a seat cover on that, and it's I'll get you a nice close-up of it. It's really fuzzy, soft, almost like felt on top. Very, very fuzzy, soft. And then it has a almost canvasy, rough sort of backing. So this is an interesting piece of material. You can get a hold of the fuzz there. It's quite nice actually. It feels great. Feels like your favorite blanket, But anyway, very, very fine texture on it. And that's great when you're trying to model, something in the scale size. So that's a nice fuzzy, Walmart seat cover kind of thing for your 70s truck, if there was Walmart back then. And then the other thing that I think is one of our fan favorites here in the GCM building community anyways, is this felt. This is just craft felt, and it's actually got a sticky back already on it. So quite sticky too. It's really good stuff, and it's of course it's basically just polyethylene, so that's kind of waterproofed, and it's already, it's basically ready to be used. And the cool thing about it is because it's plastic, polyethylene of course, you can actually paint this with any sort of plastic paint. Your leftover TS, leftover PS paints, Krylon, Duplicolor, plastic coat, whatever color paint can you have, you can actually paint this. I recommend using the black or the white as the base, and it works really, really well, like really well. So I've painted these in all kinds of different colors. The Bronco, the Ascender Bronco that we have, the Bandit Bronco, it's got a full blue carpet in it, but it was actually this. It was actually black foam, or black polyethylene mat, and it with the sticker on the back. We lined the whole thing with the back on it so we could cut it out to shape first, and you can put it in the truck with the backing still on it so it's not sticky. Cut out all the shapes, it works perfect, lay it all down, and then you just bring this to the paint booth. We painted the black with about 5 coats of a blue color, the dark blue color, and then it gave us this perfect blue carpet. So it's pretty cool. You can paint it. It looks fantastic. If you need to hold it down, use this. It's great, and this gluey stuff is actually kind of definitely permanent enough because the felt is so soft. Okay, this actual craft felt is so soft, like if you bend a corner with it, it just stays bent. Like it doesn't fold back down or anything, it just stays up there. So it holds its shape really well. The seat cover material, of course, isn't sticky, and so I would recommend something like this to actually get the project off the ground. You can also get felt in colors that you may want, but don't have a sticky backing, and then you would just use stuff like this again. They say that this stuff is safe for just about everything. It's safe for pictures, paper, you know, wood, felt, foam, canvas, whatever. You could almost stick your baby diaper on with this stuff. It's like safe for everything, pretty much. By the way, don't do that to your baby. And so this is what we used on the material to get it stuck to the seat. That matters a little bit because what ended up happening was we got the material on the seat. Here you can see this here. So this is our regular printed black seat that you've seen in all the other videos. Same material as what's here in the console. Except we sprayed it with this adhesive and then we lined it with the material. And we cut the material after it was on, okay? But I realized after having put the material on and had all the seams rolled over and everything, it was great. It looked fantastic. Except within about 3 or 4 hours, all the seams started to lift. So what I actually did was run over all the seams with a little bit of medium CA. And the medium CA will just keep the seam. And it kind of looked like a stitched seat cover. I'm still going to weather these, so they're going to be all dirty and old anyways. It won't really matter. So that looks great. Now you can see the console in there. Unfortunately, being black as it is, it's very, very difficult to actually see the detail in it because of the white seat there, the video contrast. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's an idea what's going on. So what we did is we took the carpet, we took that sticky foam, the sticky felt, sorry, and we lined the entire interior pan with it all the way up behind the seat. This is all the stuff that would ever be exposed when you're looking in the truck, okay? And it goes all the way up to the bottom of the under the dash panel there. And you can see the shiny line right there where the frame is. Okay, that's the top of the frame, and the reason that's separate is because this piece here, this was the hot rolled plastic piece that we made up in order to cover the tunnel. We added a flat rolled extension on it that would go under the seat right inside here. And that flat rolled extension is now glued to the front piece, and being glued to the front piece, they all come out as one, and they actually sit underneath the console and seat bar. Okay, so there's 2 screws in here that actually undo the console and the seats. I'm going to take them out so you can kind of see some of the detail there, now that you know what we're doing. And quite a simple process actually. When we redesigned the little Tuffy tool case here, or console, sorry, we actually put the screw holes in it to match the rest of the mounting that we were doing on the interior. So, of course, the CMAX has the CMAX cross members bolt in the sides, they bolt in the back, they bolt in the top and or bottom. So there's a ton of actual holes that are threaded on the CMAX cross members already, like right from the gate. So there, that just unbolts. There's 2 screws in there. Let's see if I can get this out safely and show you. Okay, right down inside there. You basically can't see in there. Oh, you can kind of see the screw head there just flashing around a little bit there in the middle. So there's 2 screws, and they stick right at the bottom. See that? And then they bolt in right here on the cross member. So that's super cool because that'll hold that'll hold everything down. There's also another rail here, another one there, and we add these little styrene spacers to level it with the frame. So when you bolt this on, it's flat on the bottom. I know my seat post just fell off. It's flat on the bottom and it sits flat on the frame rail. But that holds everything down. So this is now one piece that can come out in case you have to service the truck, and that I think is really handy. Give you an idea what the seams look like after they've been glued. Okay. The seat material stays on the seat really, really well, except I guess where I had stretched it, I had to put the glue there to seal it up. Okay, so how did I get this shiny? This is 3D printed ABS, of course, typical right off of my 3D printer, nothing fancy there at all. But you can see here on the bottom it's not shiny, that's the regular print, and then this is shiny. In order to achieve that, all I really did was stick some of this Plastruct here. This is just MEK, methyl ethyl ketone. I put a bunch of ketone on it to soften up the surface of the ABS, and it just kind of blends in the surface. So in case any of you guys are doing 3D printed bodies, that's a huge undertaking, but I highly recommend you either do an acetone bath on it if you can, or an MEK bath on it, because it will soften the outside of the material and give it a really glossy, easy finish. And now if I was to paint that, the paint would actually turn out pretty nice. You could sand that real easy and it would paint really nice. So I recommend that for any kind of printed ABS parts. Now this thing here is just a tunnel cover. We can just lift that up and pull it back. You recognize all that. This is the hot formed piece in the front, now freshly glued to a rolled piece of black styrene in the back. I put a couple of little locator tabs on the back. The front can't move because it's up in the tunnel, but the back I put a couple of little tabs that just sit inside the frame rail here, and they give that some direction in order to keep it in line, and that'll also give us some space to mount the shifters and stuff. So we got to do that next. We got to make up shifters for this, because as much as I really like the axial racing ones, these are going to be proportionally quite a bit too small for this gigantic truck. Okay, these actually just plain look funny in there, so I can't use those. They're way too small. The wheel I think will be okay. I'm pretty sure we can get away with this steering wheel, and other than that, we're well on our way to getting the interior put in. I have done, if you followed any of my other comp builds, I've done a lot of competition Jeeps and stuff, and I have a tendency to put some underglow lighting in the dashboards and stuff, and I'm not doing that in this case. There's no more lighting going in this. Thanks be to Jesus. There's so many wires in here, I can't even believe it. I really don't want to have to break into this to do any more wiring. And I kind of got really lucky on how this is going, because these LEDs actually happen to bleed out just enough ahead that they will actually shine a very small, very small amount of glow here, just reflection kind of down into the dash a little bit when after the body's on even. So I think that just having these on will give just a little bit of glow in the cockpit, so I'm not adding any extra lighting in there. And other than that, we're well on our way. One of the next steps, of course, is going to be to develop the dashboard and get that mounted into the chassis. We've already got all the firewall here to just attach it. Simple, straightforward, no steering servo or any of that stuff. So we got to put that in. Obviously, we're still waiting for the servo to come in so that we can get that attached. And pretty soon, we're going to do a big reveal with the freshly painted body put on the truck. And can't tell you how exciting that is. That's going to be fantastic to have the body actually put back on it. I hope some of these tips were helpful for you guys. Don't forget to pick up some spray adhesive for your next interior project, and make sure you got some of this amazing green tape. I've used, I think, most of a roll of it already. And the other tool I would recommend is some weights. Now these are gigantic big 3/4 inch bolts. They're a couple inches long maybe total, but they weigh quite a bit. So these together probably weigh, I don't know, 1/4 pound or something. They're pretty heavy, and the reason that's kind of good is because when you're trying to glue something, you can actually just put them in, you know, like you could drop those in on the seats, for instance, and hold them down. If you're gluing the seats down, you could put them down on an interior panel, you know, something like that. You could put them down on the console to hold that down. It just gives it a little bit of positive weight, and that can be really handy to helping you successfully attach parts to your build when you're doing interiors. You don't want to put 1,000 clamps on things sometimes, so a nice heavy bolt will do the job. Thanks for watching. Soon to be buttoned up and almost driving. I will also say that I put the drive shafts on, so we now have an official 4x4. Pretty exciting. Good to see you guys. Watch for another very flashy looking painted update pretty soon.